Once upon a time, the Atari 7800 library did not feature many games that could be completed. One of the few was Midnight Mutants, a game that featured the likeness of Al Lewis on both the cover and within the game itself. He played the role of Grandpa, a pivotal character to the story and somebody who will give you hints as you progress through the isometric adventure. Grandpa has been trapped inside a plasmic pumpkin, and it's your job as Jimmy Harkman, his grandson, to save him. Midnight Mutants was developed by Radioactive Software and published by Atari Corporation. It was the last official release in the United States for the Atari 7800 Pro system. And for many, including myself, it's one of the best games on the console. With a talented team of developers, including programmer and designer Peter Adams, writer Tammy Moore, artist Les Pardue, and composer Paul Webb, Midnight Mutants was an ambitious title that the Pro system did not have nearly enough of. Include cover art from Michael Mindheim, who also did the Fester's Quest box art, and you have a recipe for a game destined to become a cult classic. So what if I could tell you how to maximize your life and permanently purify your blood to maximize your chances of survival? And what if I showed you strategies to defeat the large and imposing bosses effectively every time? And what if I gave you the correct and quickest order to collect all the items and weapons, including the well-hidden Super Blaster? Well, in this totally original video, I'll show you all this and more. So let's get into Midnight Mutants for the Atari 7800. Moochie, why won't you shoot the intro? Play Atari. Good boy. Okay, guys, but for real, I love Midnight Mutants, and I wanted to do a legit and updated strategy video for it, so here we go. Once you watch the neat intro where Dr. Evil is burned as a witch and returns to get revenge on your bloodline, you'll be dumped right into the game. There he captured Grandpa in a plasmic pumpkin. And it's time to start. You'll begin next to a body of water with a heart that you can't reach yet. You can press the button to talk to Grandpa, aka Al Lewis. Later, this will also be an inventory screen, but for now you have nothing to do, so just head upward. I personally recommend saving the potions for later, but you can grab them if you're worried about dying. Head into the mansion and go left. Here, we're going to grab the knife. It's technically your first weapon, but it's not very useful if I'm honest. The only thing it's really effective for is killing bats, but even then, well, they tend to move around chaotically, so it's not recommended. But once you have the knife, it's time to head out the way you came and head back to the starting area. So we're already doing some backtracking, which you'll do a fair amount here. We're also passing areas that we could explore, but there really isn't any reason to, so I would just ignore them. Maybe look into them later. With the knife, we can pry open the chapel door, and from here we can get a far more useful item. Now open the menu and equip the cross that we just picked up. The cross keeps the bats from biting you and draining your blood purity, so it's much more useful than trying to kill them. I also like the little song that Grandpa sings to us here. It shows how cool and morbid the guy is. No wonder we love him so much. Anyway, equip the cross to scare away the bats to prevent them from draining your blood purity. From the chapel, go immediately north. We're going to head up into the pumpkin patch, and this is a very important area to the game. But right now we have one simple objective. We have to collect the lantern. The lantern will light up dark pathways and help us to find our way better here in a little bit. Now, it is in a certain area in the pumpkin patch. If you're having a hard time, just go up to each screen and go left and right until you reach the ends. Eventually, you will run into it. Make sure you avoid the pumpkins because these enemies are deadly at this part. They're meant for much later in the game. On your way out, you'll want to find the pumpkin-lined path and only walk down on that. If you walk down on any other part of the screen, you'll be caught in an endless loop of pumpkins. Now we head back down the way we came once more, but this time we're gonna go into the woods. The woods is a fairly dangerous area as well, and we're ill-equipped to deal with any enemies, but that won't last for much longer. If you take the path south of where you started, you'll be able to find yourself on the cliff side. The cliffside features a lot of spiders that you'll need to avoid, and there's usually a dog at the end of the path too. Now the dog can be killed by the knife, but I recommend trying to avoid him. Once he tackles you and he's on top of you, well, it can be difficult to get him off. When you get to the woods, you'll want to go up and up again. However, I recommend exploring a few of the clearings because there's a few health diamonds here. The health diamonds not only refill your health, but they also make it so you can take a few more hits, and are very necessary if we want to make it to the end of the game. I personally just find one and move on. There might be more, but it's not really needed. You'll head up one more time, and then you'll head all the way to the left. Here you'll find a well and a log cabin. The well restores your health if you need it, so utilize it. Inside the cabin, we find the axe behind a chair, and we finally have a weapon that can kill some enemies. We're going to go up through the chimney into the caves. Even though you have a pretty decent weapon, do not try to kill these green monsters. They are far too deadly and strong for us right now. We're simply going to go all the way right and down and collect another health diamond. Again, these health diamonds will be pivotal if we want to survive. So once we're out of the log cabin, we will want to leave the way we came, but go up into the first clearing. Here you will notice a hole in the ground which will take us to a strange looking area. Collect the health diamond, and go down to find yourself in a pathway lined with bushes. Find the bush without a shadow and go down through it. You are now into the farmyard with a lot of skeletal animal bodies. We are going to enter the barn and we are regaled with a tale from our grandpa about the terrors that we are about to encounter. Simon Yeager has a tragic backstory, and it's, well, kind of silly, but so is the whole game of Midnight Mutants. Read the story that he tells you, and get ready, because we're about to encounter Simon Yeager, and Grandpa knows this. You can see Simon was craving for human life, and he becomes a skeletal ram's head. The dogs in here are quite deadly, and again, can be hard to get off of you, so make sure you kill them all, pick up the health potion if you need it, and head into the boss room. The boss is big and imposing, but not too difficult. He will move left and right while you stand on the bottom of the screen and shoot up at him. Make sure you hit the small horn on the top of his head. If I'm honest, the horn looks like a tightly coiled package, so shoot for that. The whole time he'll be shooting projectiles at you, coming out of his eye sockets. You'll want to avoid those the best you can, and it shouldn't be too difficult. If you take too many hits, go into the menu and use the life potion to restore your health. You don't want to die on this battle. A few more hits should do it. Yeah, without the axe, this would be a nearly impossible battle. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't even be able to do the battle. scratch one goat. You can also click on the menu and see what Grandpa says. He has something kind of neat to say about your victory over such a huge and imposing enemy. But watch the skeletal ram's head, Simon Yeager, fall apart, and soon we'll be kicked back out of the barn, ready to continue our adventure. Once outside of the barn, avoid the zombies and move upward. We're going to find that same bush and make our way through it. We are going to go to the right. If you went to the left, you would see the side of the gate of the fence and not be able to access the barn, and we don't really need to go that way. What we're actually going to do is head towards the mansion now. Again, we left these potions here if you need them. I recommend picking up the red blood purity potion. And now, in the mansion, we're going to collect a few items and explore it much more thoroughly. First thing, we're going to go up and then left, and we're going to use these stairs to get all the way to the top floor. Avoid these dark enemies. They are far too powerful for us right now. Once at the top of the stairs, I always head all the way to the right. I shoot a constant stream of axes to kill these zombies. They are some of the easier zombies to kill. Once you hear that noise, a health diamond has spawned, but we will get it on our way back. Clear the zombies and head into each room. Most rooms will have an item, but more often than not, you'll have to clear the zombies to get said item. So there, we cleared out the zombies and we got another health diamond. Our health is getting significantly larger now, which is a good thing. We'll need all this health to complete the game. I'll throw a consistent wave of axes because these enemies spawn... well, they spawn endlessly and quite a few of them. We'll head over and just pick up the health crystal now. Or a diamond. Each of these rooms will either have a health diamond, a blood purity potion, or a health potion. So if you're in need of potions, clear them and pick up the potions. Otherwise, clear out the few rooms I'm showing and grab your health diamonds. And we'll make our way towards the end of the hallway. Remember, the zombies, their different heads will signify how strong or weak they are. Normal-looking heads are the weakest. The long-necked zombies are the next strongest. The ones with big odd heads are the next. Headless zombies, and then the ones with diamond heads and what have you, are the strongest. Don't forget to go into the room on the side here. We'll want to clear the bobbing head zombie and get the crypt key, which we will need here a little bit later. Head all the way down and clear out the remaining zombies in the hallway. And we will enter the last room. In here is just another health diamond, but again, we want as many of these as we can find on our way. Just ignore the zombies and make your way upward. They're quite difficult to kill from this angle, if I'm honest. Clear the easier zombies on the hallway and head back to the stairs. We are going to start making our way to the basement, so we'll need to go the way that we came, once again ignoring the darker enemies. Once on the ground floor, we are going to go all the way right and take the stairs down into the basement. Now, these werewolf head enemies are far too strong for us as well, so we're going to enter the crack in the wall and hear another tale from our grandpa. He tells us of Professor Von Adams, who was experimenting with weaponry. He wanted to show off what he was doing, let loose a wave of zombies, and was going to show off his blaster weapon, and it did not end so well for him. And there you see they tore the poor man to pieces. Not a great end for Professor Von Adams. And so they explain why there is a bunch of zombies still down in the basement, and it is our job to clear them out. The best strategy is, again, to clear anything immediately as you walk in, and then just shoot a constant stream of axes as you go. You can hit some of the enemies off screen when they spawn in. Once you reach these tables, hopefully you'll kill enough to hear a sound, and the blaster will appear, but we did not, so we will make our way back to the right, simply to spawn in more zombies, and hopefully get the blaster to spawn. Once you hear that sound, the blaster has indeed spawned, so we'll head back to the medical tables, and there you go, the blaster. The blaster is pretty decent at killing a lot of the enemies, but I think we can do just a little bit better. So we're going to head down back into the familiar caves in order to discover the Super Blaster, the most powerful and well-hidden weapon in the game. If all you had is the blaster, you could technically complete the game, but it would be much more difficult, so I recommend getting the Super Blaster. There are a ton of green monsters here, and you'll want to make a stand and destroy them all. If they start to cluster up towards the top of the screen where you are, then head downward. But the best strategy is to just stay in place and fire, unless you're getting wailed on by one of the green monsters. Clear them all out and you'll receive the strongest secret weapon in the game, the Super Blaster. It fires faster and packs a harder punch. It's also nearly mandatory to outlast the final boss, in my opinion. But we aren't done in the caves yet, because we need to find another cool area that can only be reached from here. We are going to head back up the way that we came. We are going to head to the right and then up again. Here you should enter a narrow hallway that is blue. This signifies that you're heading in the right direction. It's easy to get lost in the cave, so take your time, avoid enemies when possible, and watch your blood purity level. That seems to drop faster than anything else, but they'll suck down your health too. Just keep going up and up until you reach an opening in the cavern. This orange screen has an opening that goes up, so we're going to head that way and encounter a set of stairs. We'll take these stairs up once again, clearing any zombies in our way, and we will find a hidden pirate ship. This hidden pirate ship is filled with spiders and ghosts, but we're not really concerned with them. We want the necklace that is found at the top and right of the pirate ship. Now, I have heard rumors that the necklace decreases the amount of damage you take, but I honestly don't know if that's true or not. It in fact has a much more useful thing that we can do with it, so we are going to take it all the way back to the beginning of the game. So we will simply follow the path that we entered. We will clear out any enemies in our way. Be sure to keep an eye on your blood purity and health. If you need to drink the potions you've collected, do so, because you do not want to die now. The caves is quite a difficult area of the game, and it is easy to be killed. If you are killed, you can talk to Grandpa, who will have a few negative things to say, but occasionally he will respawn you. He also occasionally will turn you into a green monster with Jimmy's head on it, which is strange. Anyway, you'll want to exit the cave the way you came. You can also attempt to leave it through the log cabin entrance because they are all connected. I, however, don't recommend that and usually just go back through the mansion because I have that route memorized. But who knows? The log cabin might be quicker and easier. Plus, you have the well there to restore your health, so if you're able to map out the caves, well, that might be the way to go. But if you're careful and you follow what I do, you should be fine. I also like to head back to the mansion for one other reason. Those werewolf enemies that we skirted around earlier We are now able to kill them, but it will be quite the battle. I just sort of kite them around the room. They do tend to go towards you, but their movement is also randomized somewhat. Once we wipe them out, we will be rewarded with yet another health crystal, and we will need everyone that we can get when we go to fight the final boss. Please note too, if you try to enter the basement and it will not allow you to, that means you have not acquired all the health crystals. Now, you don't need to get every diamond or crystal, but it's good to grab the ones that I've shown in this video. You'll be guaranteed to enter the basement that way. So we are heading back down out of the mansion to the area that we started in. If you left any of these potions, now is not a bad time to grab them, so pick them up. Now here at the slow body of water, we'll equip the necklace and walk over to grab the heart. The heart tells us that our blood purity will no longer falter, so we no longer have 2 health bars to keep track of. We are now going to go down towards the chapel and then down into the graveyard. We will want to go to the left and approach the crypt or mausoleum, equip the crypt key, and open the door. Here we are getting ready to face the second boss. And Grandpa will once again regale us with the tale of a feared optometrist, Damon Moeller, and his assistant, Edward Evil. That name should sound familiar. Apparently, Damon had an accident where he lost his eyes, and his assistant, Edward Evil, attempted to help him, but actually tricked him and gave him tainted, blood-soaked eyeballs to stick inside his head. This made the man very sick, and he soon perished, and now he returns to take his revenge on the sighted living. You will encounter a few ghosts inside the crypt, just shoot them. There is also another potion in here if you need it. Instead of going down the stairs when you reach them, continue to the left. Then head down the stairs and you will face our feared optometrist. He is supposed to move left and right while you fight him from the side. He glitches out a lot and just shoots eyeballs at you while standing still. He is by far the easiest boss, so just wail on him with our newly obtained Super Blaster, and he'll blow up in no time. He will glitch out and fall to pieces in a similar method to the skeletal ram's head that we already fought. Once again, you can talk to Grandpa for some dialogue where he tells you how proud he is of you. Otherwise, just let the points tally and wait to exit the crypt. Occasionally, from time to time, Grandpa will have some funny quips or some pieces of the story to fill in for you. Now, it's up to you if you want to read these or listen to them, but anytime you enter the menu, he will always have something to say. I found this one particularly interesting and decided to read it. I don't recall seeing that message very often, but you never know. He has a ton of lines. We are now going to head up, back towards the chapel, and then left. What we are going to do now is head over and fight the final boss. Yes, we are already there. Now, it might feel a little short, but remember, this guide is streamlining everything for you. There are a lot of pointless areas that you could get lost in, and a lot of areas that would be difficult to exit if you didn't know the way. We're going to head back to the woods from the cliffside, only this time we're going to go up and then to the right. You will know that you're on the right path when you can kind of see the other path next to you, the path that you would have taken to get to the cabin. You'll take this upward path over and over again until you reach the Garden of Skulls. This Garden of Skulls has the most powerful enemies and the hardest to kill enemies in the game. They could technically be killed by the blaster, but the super blaster is recommended. Clear them out and walk through the maze to head upward. Here you will see Radioactive, which is the developers of the game, giving themselves a nice little nod. And why shouldn't they? Next, you'll encounter a room with a skull made from skulls. Interesting. How creative. Nice use for skulls. There are more enemies here. A lot of them will be stuck in place and simply throw pumpkins at you. Clear them all out and you will be able to move on to Dr. Evil. Just avoid the pumpkins and hit them with the super blaster as much as you can. They will fall somewhat quickly. Once you clear them out, you can go up again and you will be into the spiral maze. There will be what I assume is a ladder there at the end. It almost looks like the letters PA, but I don't think that was the intent. I recommend clearing out the enemies, and if you've lost a lot of health, I would use the potion before picking up the next health potion. But given the amount of life that we have, a blood purity that will never falter, and the strongest weapon in the game, we should be able to take out our evil foe easily. Grandpa complaining about his plasmic pumpkin. And here he is, Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil will move left and right, and you'll fight him from the bottom of the screen, similar to that of the skeletal ram's head. However, this time, his weak spot is either of his ears, and they will alternate back and forth. You'll also notice that bugs pour out of either ear too. Whichever ear has the bugs pouring out of it is the ear that is currently weak. Bugs will also enter from the right of the screen and head towards you. Be careful to avoid these bugs at all costs, as they will move you around quite a bit, making it hard to line up your shots. Dr. Evil also has a massive health bar, and it will require a ton of shots to kill him. The battle will be long, but you have all the tools needed to succeed. Do your best to hit the ear while avoiding the bugs. You will take several hits, it's unavoidable. I like to sort of stick to one ear if I'm having success, but if you're getting jostled around quite a bit, move over to the other ear and see if you fare any better. The more damage Dr. Evil sustains, the more and more bugs will pour out, until eventually it's a constant, daunting stream of bugs. Be sure to keep an eye on your health bar. If it gets low, we'll want to use the potion. So Dr. Evil is a warlock, I believe. Our grandpa is not said to be a vampire, but given his role in the Munsters and the blood on his teeth on the package, I think it's fair to say that he's probably a vampire. But a good vampire. Continuing to fight Dr. Evil here, it's, as I said, a long battle, and you will sustain a lot of damage. When you're starting to feel uncomfortable about where your health is, I recommend taking the potion, but let it fall as low as you're comfortable with. Here I will use the potion, and we'll conclude the battle. He is nearly defeated, but this is the hardest part of the battle. It is nearly unfair how much he moves you around with his barrage of bugs. Just a few more hits should do it. This boss music is awesome, by the way. I love it. And there you have it, the end of Dr. Evil. We have defeated the man who has vowed revenge against our family bloodline, so now we no longer have to worry about him moving forward. Grandpa will give you the same spiel that he does after you defeat any boss, but you just have to watch him fall apart and the points to rack up. Now be careful, once he is gone and you head back out to where you came, the enemies will be respawned. There will also be a pumpkin on the ground, so you'll want to collect that and get to a safe space. Now you can clear the enemies for points or to make your exit safer, it's up to you. I recommend clearing them out, they're easy enough to do so, but if you don't want to waste your time and you think you can safely navigate it, you can just leave the spiral. We are obviously going to exit the way we came. Most people would think that this would be game over at this point, but we have one more thing to accomplish. Grandpa is still trapped inside the pumpkin we picked up. So we have to figure out a way to put an end to his curse. Continue down, again clear out any enemies that you would like for points or just to make your trip safer. There are several ways to get to where we want to go. You can head down through the woods, you can head back through the cabin and the mansion to get back to the home screen. I don't recommend that path, but you can stop at the well to fill in your health. You can go through the tunnel that takes you to the screen with the shadowless bushes that we use to get to the skeletal ram head, or you can walk across the cliffside. For whatever reason, I believe I chose to walk across the cliffside. It's probably not the easiest or best way to go, not to mention it's probably not the quickest, the tunnel would probably be the quickest way, but still, it's an option. So just safely make your way back. You have done too much now to die, so whatever you do, do not lose all your health and perish. We have one more thing to accomplish, as I said. They don't really tell you how to accomplish this, but when you are in the pumpkin patch, you might have seen an interesting set of pumpkins, and this would be the only hint that you receive as to what you're supposed to do. So we will head back to the pumpkin patch. Again, these pumpkin throwing enemies here are some of the tougher in the game, so avoid them the best you can. And find said oval. Equip your grandpa's plasmic pumpkin and place it in the middle of the oval. You'll have completed Midnight Mutants. There's nothing left to do but to sit back, enjoy, and read the cheesy ending. And there you have it, guys. Midnight Mutants is one of the best 7800 adventures with an ending on the console. It's a fun Halloween tradition for myself, and one that I complete at least once a year on Halloween. And now you have the ability to complete it yourself. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video, be sure to subscribe if you enjoy all things Atari, and be sure to check out the You Can Beat Video Games channel. The guy is fantastic. Alright guys, with that, there's nothing left to say, except stay classy, Atarians.